Hi, friends. Welcome back to Live at the Roxy. I'm hoping that we get no freezes on the show today because I just froze for about 10 minutes, which is why we're 10 minutes late. Just was frozen. Whole computer was motherfucking frozen. This Skype thing, baby, it's really fucking me up. Today is 421, which is not as cool as 420, but still pretty cool because we're alive. It is April 21st. It is a Wednesday. Y'all know that means it's World Girl Wednesday, which is something that I'm really excited about for tonight. On the World Girls, we are giving tarot card readings a whirl. I always say that word really fast because I don't know if I know how to say it. I say tarot, but I think it's tarot. Tarot card. I don't know. The T must be silent, but I say tarot cards, terracotta pot, whatever it is. We're giving that a whirl. Dee and Steph wholeheartedly believe in this woo-woo stuff. I say woo-woo as a fine thing. I don't mean woo-woo as a bad thing. I just know that Steph really believes in this stuff. Dee really believes in this stuff. And I certainly am not sure. I think I don't. As you guys know, if you've seen me over the years, if you watched me on The Tomorrow Show with John Edward, I am a skeptic. I'm very, very skeptical of anything that has to do with astrology or tarot cards or mediums or anything. And it's not that I think that there's no way on the planet that it could be true. It's just that I am so logical. You guys know I have a really hard time turning off that part of my brain. And so these kind of things are really difficult for me in a way that for Dee and Steph, they're incredibly easy. For me, I do them and I feel like, and I really like this girl, Tiffany, so nothing about her, but I feel like I'm being lied to when I'm doing them, which is not what's happening. But it's just so they're hard for me. They make me feel weird. And so I'm excited to do that tonight because I love things that push me outside my comfort zone, that make me challenge my beliefs and make me question what is what. So I'm stoked for that. Join us 6 p.m. Pacific time on youtube.com/theworldgirls for that. But for today on this show, Live at the Roxy, we got a lot going on. Number one, wild news this morning about Hilary Duff. Hilary Duff, spelled her name wrong in that tweet. Well, you know what happens. Hilary Duff is starring in How I Met Your Father. If you know me, you know I'm a massive fan of How I Met Your Mother. You also know that I do not pull my punches on that finale. It is a really, really shitty finale. And so what's a bummer is that How I Met Your Mother has aged incredibly poorly. It did not age like one of the great sitcoms like it was because the finale was so shitty that a lot of people don't recommend it to people. So I'm really excited for How I Met Your Father because A, I think it'll bring new light to How I Met Your Mother because maybe people will go back and watch the amazing show despite its shitty ass finale. And B, I love Hilary Duff. I grew up on Lizzie McGuire. I also follow her on social media now, and she's rad as hell. She's a mama. I really was excited for the Lizzie McGuire reboot, which we're probably not getting now. This is supposed to be on Hulu, so it shows that she still has a good relationship with Disney, which I am glad to hear about. She dyed her hair blue during pandemic, and I was like, rock on with your bad self, and then got a fake nose piercing and decided getting a real one. I'm just showing my Hilary Duff knowledge. I watch her on TikTok. I watch her IG stories. I watch her all over the place. She's cool as hell. And that's how I feel. And you can't change my mind. Hilary Duff for the win. Cha-cha-cha. So yeah, I'm excited for her to be in How I Met Your Father. I'm excited for this to bring new light to How I Met Your Mother. And I'm excited for redemption because this could mean that we look at the series in better eyes. So anyway, we'll talk more about that in a little bit. And I would love to get your guys' thoughts on How I Met Your Father. Also, I saw that, and this has been circling for the last couple of days, Rian Johnson really wants to direct an episode of The Mandalorian, and it looks like he's in talks to do so. I have questions, comments, and concerns about this. Not the same concerns you guys have, I'm sure, but I would love to hear from you guys how you feel. And then, of course, because we are not just an entertainment show, we are a show of the people, the world, And unfortunately, bad shit keeps happening. So that is stuff that we need to talk about here on the show. I believe her name is pronounced Micaiah Bryant. I was watching all of the footage, and at first it said that she was 15. Now I think they're saying she's 16. Was murdered yesterday. It was only a few minutes before we got the news about Derek Chauvin's guilty. And the body cam footage was released, and we watched a police officer murder a 16-year-old black girl yesterday. There's more to that story, kind of, but we will break that down today on Live at the Roxy. Plus, any questions, comments, concerns from you guys. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Super chat in as well. Thank you guys for being here with me today. Oh, yeah. Thanks for being here with me today. It's like, there can't be any fully just good days, like where everything that happens that day is A-okay. You got to take the good with the bad. Well, we don't have to take the good with the bad, but that's how it's being handed to us, and that's frustrating. So let's go into the Streamlabs, see what's going on in there. Then we'll take some super chats, or if there are none, then we will try to pay rent by ourselves. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Like I said, it is 4:21. So let's see the first Streamlabs of the day today, coming in from Lloyd Nance, who says, "Hi, Roxy. I never forget about you. Rockstar for life." Thanks, Lloyd. Appreciate you. Glenn Caesar says, Miles Cosgrove, Brett Hankison, Jonathan Mattingly, arrest the cops who killed Breonna Taylor, all three of them for killing Breonna Taylor. Hope today is the day. Justice for all the people who've lost their lives due to excessive force. # say their names. Hello and good afternoon. Roxy, Rocks, RJ, Skittles, Chunk, GPS, Misdirection, Silver the Elf, Zilla, Queen Badges, Dimples, Rocks, Rortiz, Schmodown, Modi. Well wishes and thanks for hanging out. Love to you, Grammy and Pablo. Peace, bunnies, hugs, and good stuff to you and yours. RJ and everyone who shows up and gives their support whenever, however they can when it gets tough, even if you're by yourself, so you're not alone. Everyone who's battling, keep on fighting. You're a winner. You're kind. You're smart. You're unique. Being so unselfishly loving and supportive of others, including strangers on the internet or not, makes you humane and worthy. Show up for people who need it and want it. It makes you dope AF. Your story is important. It deserves to be seen and heard. Let's go Smets and everyone fighting for today, tomorrow, and more. # smash cancer all day, every day. I hope you guys saw that he officially is taking or took his last 3 chemo pills, hopefully ever. I talked to him today and he is doing well and is excited for the future and this next chapter that's still going to be brutal, but is hopefully, and as we know, going to put him on the other side of this. And being done with your chemo treatment is no small feat. So really, really happy for him. And he still has surgery coming up and whatnot, but this is a big, big step. And he is smashing cancer. And fuck you, Mr. H. That's what I keep texting him. Glenn also says, be most excellent RJ and Rockstars. Cheers to fuck yeah news, laughter, and joy for all of us in each of our days, our weeks, our months, and even our years. Thank you, Glenn. Katie the Good Witch. What? Katie, I miss you, girl. She says, the last couple of weeks have been heavy in Minneapolis. The kid who works for me was cousins with Dante Wright and hasn't been back since. I played the verdict live from my office and my staff erupted in relief. Felt like a brief ledge on the way up to a mountain. Yeah, that's an interesting way of putting it, Katie. I'm glad that you played for your staff and that's the way that it went. I'm sure it has been a really tough time in Minneapolis. And wow. Yeah, I can understand why he hasn't been back since. Keep us posted on everything, Katie. We miss you. Pink Sweets in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer says, hi, Roxy. So here's a story about me being a dumbass. Laugh my ass off. I tell stories about me being a dumbass all the time, Pink Sweets. I had your link open yesterday, but did not watch the show. It didn't play for me. I was sitting there baked, waiting for it to come on. I was so confused, but then finally refreshed and saw the end. 420, baby. It will get you every time. Anyway, I watched it back on playback, which is why I remembered to leave a comment. LOL. Hope your day is going well. Do you have a finale you dislike more than How I Met Your Mother? Mine might be Gossip Girl. Pink Sweets, you rock. No worries. No shame in the baked game. Appreciate you for telling us that. I think the worst finale of all time is Dexter. I don't I don't hate the Gossip Girl finale the same way that other people hate it. Was it the best finale ever? No, but I don't hate it that way. I think How I Met Your Mother and Dexter might rival each other for worst. They're both so bad. I don't like the Seinfeld finale either, but it's not a universally panned finale. Like a lot of people really like that finale. It's not good for me though. I don't love that finale. All right, go back into Streamlabs. Streamlabs.com/RoxyStrider. Jake Yakavetta says YouTube is back on their bullshit and deleting whenever we post in the chat. So we'll see how long that goes this time. Why do they do this shit? It's YouTube. I know that I'm on here and this is partially how I make a fucking living and also how I stay sane, but why do they fucking do this? It's very frustrating. It's very fucking frustrating. I wish that they could just be cool and also not take 55% of our money because that's not cool. YouTube, you're not cool, dog. You're not cool. Speaking of YouTube, let's see what's going on in the super chat. Chris McGovern says, "Hi, Roxy. When I started watching How I Met Your Mother, I was such a great fan of Allison Hannigan. This is basically the reason I came to it in the first place." Yeah, she's awesome. Were you a Buffy person? Let me know why you were such a big fan of hers in the first place. She was great. Everyone on that show was phenomenally talented. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. Evan Hooker in the Streamlabs.com/Roxy Strider says, Mark Johnson. Y'all, I put out a TikTok about this. I was in fucking tears last night. I was on my bike. I had just gotten very, very high. I'm scrolling through Twitter, and this is why the internet is sometimes great. I was feeling annoyed about a few different things because, some shit was popping up on my feed and whatnot, and I'm just feeling annoyed with, like, some life stuff, and I was just sitting there like, oh, it's 420. You don't want to be annoyed. You want to be fucking buzzed and hanging by your, just do your thing, Rox. And so I was going to get off social media, but then I was scrolling through on Twitter trying to think of what I wanted to talk about for today's show because I knew I had a busy morning and I wanted to make sure that I had something prepped. This didn't even end up making the rundown. But what I did find was something that had me in tears. I was laughing so hard. And I don't even know why. KTVB, which is an Idaho local channel 7 station, tweeted out just the words Mark Johnson and then a link to Mark Johnson, who's a reporter's bio. And the internet strikes again because they lost their fucking shit over this. Like everyone just kept commenting like, Mark Johnson. It is what it is, Mark Johnson. If you know, you know, Mark Johnson. I think I tweeted to tweet Mark Johnson is to love Mark Johnson. People were like, I'm so glad that somebody finally stood up and said what needed to be said, Mark Johnson. And I don't know why we all were on the same page. Like everybody on the internet on this thread was on the exact same page during this time, which was just Mark Johnson. And then Mark Johnson started commenting and was like, what the fuck is happening here? He said, I think my teenage daughters have something to do with this, but I'm not sure how. And it was just, I was losing it. Every single comment as thousands of people just were. And when I found it, there was only a couple hundred likes on it. I was really quick to the Mark Johnson page. And luckily I found this right after I saw the fucking Raiders tweet out, I can breathe, which was the dumbest shit that I've ever fucking seen in my life. And that organization keeping it up is absurd. But I was looking at that. I was like, I fucking hate the internet. And then I found this Mark Johnson thing. And Mark Johnson, he's just a random ass reporter. And this Idaho news station just tweeted his name and bio. Nothing happened to him. It wasn't his wedding. Nothing. They just tweeted out. Obviously, either somebody made a mistake or they just, who the fuck knows? Who the actual fuck knows? But it had me and everybody else. I don't know whether we were just all collectively high yesterday because 420 or what happened. But this tweet now has 16,000 likes on it and over 4,000 retweets. When I saw it, it had a couple hundred. It was ridiculous. Ridiculous. Mark Johnson writes on it, this is awesome. And, so good. And celebrities were commenting on it. I mean, it was just a huge, I want to see the coverage that they did. This news station must have done coverage on this morning. It's just a random ass Idaho. Their handle is, if you want to look at all these tweets, please, you will die laughing, especially if you're stoned, at KTVB, because it's KTVB's Boise and Idaho local news. It was really, truly incredible. I'm scrolling to see if they've posted anything else about Mike Johnson since. Unfortunately, they've posted only news stuff since, it looks like, which all the news stuff is sad as fuck. So that's not even close to as fun. No, it is by far and away. Like, the tweet after Mark Johnson says, straight out of Hollywood fiction, feds announce international bank heist bust. That tweet has 4 likes. Mark Johnson has 16,000 likes. Just so good. Then they tweeted, hello, Idaho. Boise woman shares her infertility story. 2 likes. That's mean because I feel bad for her, but two freaking likes. AP Biden to pledge having greenhouse gases by 2030. 7 likes. But not Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson gets all the likes. It's just really good. You gotta look at the thread. You gotta look at the thread. You just never know when it's gonna hit you. And that one really hit. So shout out to Evan Hooker for just Mark Johnson. This we know. Mark Johnson. When it's a fact, it's a fact. Jeremy ATXC in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer with that big ass support. Yes, Jeremy. He says, hey, Roxy, I appreciate those gorgeous eyes more each day. It's so sweet. I didn't mean for the universe to reinforce my comment yesterday about black skin being a target. I know. I feel like the universe left the toilet seat up and racist buffoons are steaming out. I know. Well, how could you not feel like that when it's every single effing day? So let's talk about that story so that we don't end on that note, because we're going to need to pick me up after that. If you didn't hear or didn't see, Ma'Khia Bryant was... This is the story. Well, she was murdered. That's the story. Here is what we saw from the body cam footage. She is a 16-year-old black girl who was what we see, and you guys know I don't show any images or play any images because I know it's triggering for people. And the only way you should watch this footage is if you're seeking it out. I don't ever want to show you guys something that you don't want to see, especially because such a large portion of our audience is black, and that's, you guys have fucking dealt with enough. You don't need me to show this footage to you and continue to show you all of the people who are black and brown being fucking shot and killed. So if you want to look it up, the body cam footage is available on YouTube with the chief of police who was showing it, and also the mayor who came and stepped in, and a council person or somebody else. There was 3 people who ended up talking about it. And they play the footage for us one time in regular motion, and then one time in slow motion, so we can see exactly what's happening. This took place in Columbus, Ohio, and there are outside, and there are several people in the street. There's a man and another person next to him. And then the main people of this story are these 3 teenage girls, or at least I think they were all teenage girls. Not that much information has come out about them. And one of those girls, Ma'Khia, had a knife. And when the police show up, what the body cam footage shows is that Ma'Khia kind of lunges at one of the girls with the knife. The girl falls back and is on the ground. Side note, then the adult man comes and kicks that girl in the head while she's trying to get up. I don't know what is going on with that part of the story, but we can address that in a little bit. So one girl's now on the ground. Then Ma'Khia turns to another girl and starts going towards her, and the police officer shoots her 4 times. it's kind of like in her back / her side, and we hear boom, 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 boom consecutively 4 times. The other girl who is wearing pink starts sprinting away because obviously she hears gunshots, and Micaiah hits the ground, and then we see 2 other officers go over to her, and then the video cuts. So the police had been called, hearing that there was a girl with a knife, and that is how the situation unfolded, at least what it looks like from the cameras. There's questions that we don't know the answers to. Who is that man that kicked a seemingly teenage girl in the head? What was that? Who are these other 2 girls? Were they teenagers as well? What exactly happened? None of that. We don't know any of that. And those are all things that are going to come out in the weeks to come as they are doing a private investigation on this, so that the department isn't the one investigating it, so that they can actually investigate this police officer who shot and killed her. I will say the faces of the other 2 police officers that we see seemed shocked that the other police officer had shot and killed her, because legally you are allowed, when you're a police officer, you are allowed to shoot somebody who, when you are at risk or a third party is at risk, which I think is what the investigation is about. All of that being said, she is a teenage girl. You have 3 trained police officers there. Not one time do we see any of the police officers try to de-escalate the situation, or step in, or take the knife away, or try to talk somebody down. Things were happening quickly, but not one time do we see the police officers do any of that. This man gets out, from the time that he gets out of his car to the time that he shoots her 4 times dead, seemed like it was maybe 45 seconds. So if you're telling me that when there are 3 police officers on a scene, 3 that we saw, and a teenage girl has a knife, that we can't do anything else other than shoot and kill her in order to protect other people. We can't try to do anything else. That step 1 is shooting and killing her. That's step 1. I don't know how police training goes. I don't know. I know that knives can be very damaging, obviously not the same as a gun. I know that the quote unquote other side, other argument of this is that they saved that other girl's life, which would be assuming that Micaiah was going to take her life, which we have no idea about because we asked no questions. We did not try to de-escalate the situation. We did not try to remove the knife from a teenage girl. We shot her 4 times. We did not shoot to injure. We shot to kill 4 times. 4 times. And so, to me, as I will continue to follow this investigation, off the footage, what seems clear is that this white police officer came and shot a teenage black girl. And yes, she did have a knife. And there was nothing he could have done. We couldn't shoot at the ground to try to scare somebody. We had to shoot her 4 times and kill her. Come the fuck on. Come the fuck on. And are we saying that that police officer would have done the same thing if it was 16-year-old Roxy? Because I'm pretty sure we're not. I'm pretty sure we're fucking not. So, this is fucking disgusting. It was horrifying to watch again. And then there's some research that's come out. I guess she Her mom was talking and said that she was an honor roll student. And then there was an article that came out that she's a foster kid. I have to do more research on her background. But regardless of any of it, horrifying. Horrifying to watch. Upsetting, and just another one. So let me know how you guys are feeling about the situation. I'm sure not fucking good. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer right here in the super chat as well. We got a lot to talk about today, but that was an important one that we could not brush over because somebody, a teenager, a kid's life has been taken. Just fucking kid. Glenn Caesar in the streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer says, Roxy, this question just popped in my head again. Since yesterday was 420, and because you decided to buy more cannabis and cannabis-related products than you were originally planning on in order to get their special, did you get the goodie bag and the stuff? Nope. Ugh. I did end up at 8-something last night that my cannabis finally came, but there was no goodie bag in it. And I opened it in front of the delivery person. I was like, look, there's no goodie bag. And he was like, let me call them. He called them and they said, okay, they said you can drive down to the store to get the goodie bag. And I said, I cannot drive to the store to get the goodie bag. I'm stoned and fucked up. I can't go to the store to get the goodie bag. And you guys are supposed to bring it in the thing. And they were like, well, then we can deliver it to you tomorrow morning. And this morning came and went and there was nothing. And so I called them and they were like, okay, well, we can come today between 1 and 2. And I said, well, I'm going to be on air. Can you come after? And they said, yeah, but we can't give you a time then. They said, it will be at 3. And I said, okay, it will be at 3. And they said, well, they can't give you an exact time then. And I said, so yesterday you guys said 4 and it came at 8-something. Could this be 3 and it comes at 7-something? And they were like, no, we'll be there in the 3 o'clock hour. So we'll see. But also I don't know because I tipped the other delivery person like 25%. Am I supposed to tip this delivery person now, even though it was supposed to come in the first delivery? These are stupid issues, obviously, especially after what we were just talking about. But it's like, how do you fuck that up that bad? Yeah. Just over and over again. So that's the answer to your question, Glenn. I'm annoyed with them. Jeremy ATXC in the Streamlabs says, plus side, I got my second Moderna shot today. I'm fully vaccinated. Stay awesome, Roxy. And chat, can't wait to see my little nephew for his birthday in May. Hell yeah, Jeremy. That's awesome. I'm glad that you got it. Let me know how you're feeling. Jeremy also said, I didn't ask about rest because, 420, I assume you got a lot of rest. LOL. I did get a bit of rest. I was able to sleep a little bit last night. Not all of the bits, but a little bit. So, yeah. All right, friends, let's move forward. I see you guys in the chat right now, and I know these conversations are really fucking hard to have. I'm with all of you guys. John Bainbridge says McDonald's employees are better at de-escalation than cops. I know. It's just like they're supposed to be trained. They're not civilians. There's no world in which a 16-year-old with a knife should be the one who ends up dead on the ground. I'm not saying that the cops should be the ones who end up dead, but nobody should end up dead on the ground. It's what cops are supposed to be there for. We shouldn't lose more people because they show up. We should lose less people because they show up. Ugh. All right. Moving forward, let's talk about Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson possibly directing an episode of Mandalorian. Now, this was interesting because if I was Rian Johnson, I don't know that I would want this position. I don't know that I would want to direct an episode of Mandalorian because the fans were so nuts. They were so fucked up towards him. And again, I happen to love his movie, so I feel differently. But even if you didn't, there's such a divide and so much tumultuousness that if I was Rian Johnson, I'd probably be like, well, that's just not my franchise. It just don't want to do it. But they're talking about him talking to Dave Filoni and having him direct Mandalorian at some point. And although it's different than directing a movie because you're just a cog in the machine, the machine is already going and you're directing one episode and there's already, you're not deciding on story points. It's overarching, like they already know, unlike in episode 7, 8, and 9, where they didn't know where 9 was going to be. So 7 and 8 make completely different choices. The Mandalorian has shown us that they obviously know what's happening here. I think he's not only a capable director, but I think Rian Johnson is an excellent director. So I would like to see this, but I'm just surprised that Rian Johnson wants to do this. It feels like if I were him, I'd just be like, sign me on to something else. Just sign me on to something else. This is not fucking worth it for me. But that's not how he feels. He says that he's dying to do it. So Sarah Wilson tweeted out and said, I asked Ryan if he'd ever considered doing an episode of The Mandalorian. He said he was dying to, but that for him, it's all about scheduling. He's been writing KO2 and now he's Knives Out 2. And now he's going to go directly into filming it. So it would be a matter of finding time to break away and do it. He said he has spoken to Dave Filoni about it. He had gone and visited the set during season 1. He said it was so cool, and I told him I was very jealous he had seen Baby Yoda months before the reveal. He said it was fascinating to see. Okay, this part is... then he also said, fascinating seeing the way that they are shooting the show. He asked if I'd seen BTS stuff. Of course I have. He said when he was standing there in that space and they did the thing where they moved the camera and the perspective of the screen shifted, he said he almost fell over. You get vertigo. I mean, he's definitely a fan, and I don't know. I think it would be cool, interesting redemption for Rian Johnson if he was able to direct an episode of The Mandalorian that was well loved. But I think that people have already made their mind out about him, which is kind of how people operate these days. You either love Rian Johnson or you hate Rian Johnson. And for me, because I love The Last Jedi, I fucking love The Last Jedi. That's not the only reason I like Rian Johnson. I also like Knives Out, and I think a lot of people love, even if they don't like Star Wars, they like Looper. So for me, this would be an exciting choice. He directed 3 episodes of Breaking Bad. He directed one of my favorite episodes of Breaking Bad of all time, and my single favorite bottle episode of any show, which is Fly. I love that episode, and that's directed by Rian Johnson. He also directed 2 episodes in season 5, one of the most popular episodes of the show being Ozymandias. So he definitely has worked in the TV arena in the past. He did an episode of Terriers as well, so this wouldn't be his first time dabbling in television. It wouldn't be his first time dabbling in Star Wars. It sounds to me like this could be a good fit. Again, if I'm Rian Johnson, I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole. But if I'm Roxy Stryer, I get excited about this kind of shit. So what do you guys think? Do you want to see Rian Johnson back in the Star Wars fold? Do you think that The Mandalorian would be a great way for him to do it? Do you think he should get a smaller episode, like an episode 3 kind of thing? I say 3 because usually like their second and third episodes are kind of in the middle of the pack. Or do you think he should get one of the big episodes like we got last season? There were some of the biggest episodes of the show yet. A finale kind of thing. What do y'all think? Let me know. Should Rian Johnson direct an episode of The Mandalorian? If we're taking votes, which I just said we are, my vote is absolutely yes. I think that it would it would crash Twitter. It would literally crash Twitter. But I'm super here for it. Y'all let me know what you're thinking on this one. And as you're doing that, don't forget to Streamlabs in and Super Chat in. I'm going to move on to talk a little bit about Hilary Duff, starring in How I Met Your Father. It's going to be hard to... I just say it so instinctively. How I Met Your Mother, How I Met Your Mother. But now it's How I Met Your Father, which is a show that is going to Hulu. I talked about this a little at the top, but this is only good news for me. Unlike some of my favorite shows where I don't want to see them remake it because it could destroy the show, it could demo it, it could take away from what we've done. It seems like this is far enough from that show. There's been enough years. It's not the exact same subject line. And that show ended so poorly that this just seems like it's getting good reactions all around. Hilary Duff's also a great person to star in this show. I think I would say Hilary Duff is well, you guys tell me. Of the people who starred in How I Met Your Mother, and remember, I'm not talking about them today. I'm talking about them at the time. So How I Met Your Mother started in 2005. So in 2005, Josh Radnor, Jason Segel, Kobe Smulders, Neil Patrick Harris, that's the caveat, and Allison Hannigan. Do you guys think that Hilary Duff is more famous today than any of those people were when they started that show in 2005? Because I do. I feel like I definitely didn't know Josh Radnor at the time. I knew Jason Segel, but he was not Jason Segel. I mean, it was not even close to the same thing. Neil Patrick Harris, if you're a musical fan. Kobe Smulders, I didn't know. Allison Hannigan, I knew from Buffy, but not in the same way. Hilary Duff was like an icon. So I think that her leading the show, they're putting like a big name in this show. They're putting a big name. Loudy says she's as famous as Allison. There's no way. There's no way, because Grammy knows who Hilary Duff is and would have no idea who Allison Hannigan is, not even today. So definitely not in 2005. No effing way. She was a name, but not Hilary Duff. Hilary Duff is like Amanda Bynes, Lindsay Lohan. Like, they all came up in that gen. I'm not saying that Lizzie McGuire was as big of a show as any of those things, but Hilary Duff was like a big, big name. And although we're a few years out from that, I think still she's a pretty big name. But you guys seem to think a little differently. Regardless, I like that this isn't a remake. I like that this isn't a sequel. It's a spinoff. They're taking the concept and they're doing How I Met Your Father, and they're not going to fuck up the ending on this one. That's just my thoughts, but hopefully I'm right. I didn't watch Younger, but I know that people loved her in Younger, which was a TV show that I believe maybe it's still on, but it's been the last few years. She was one of the leads of that show. Was it a Freeform show, I think? Or whatever, that was ABC Family, or I think it was Freeform by the time that started. Seeing the things that she did recently, Haunting of Sharon Tate. Wow, did she play Sharon Tate? Yeah, she did. She kind of looks like Sharon Tate, actually, when you're looking at her. And now she's doing this project. When you click on our IMDb, there are only 2 projects that are here. There's Lizzie McGuire, which we know is probably not happening right now. And there's the untitled Younger spinoff. So it doesn't say anything about this quite yet, but that was just announced today, so that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I still think that this is happening, and this is something I would be very excited for. So it's a spinoff to How I Met Your Mother. Hulu is going to be doing the project. It's getting a straight-to-series order from creators Isaac Aptaker and Elizabeth Berger. It's a long road to air for this project. Back in 2014, How I Met Your Mother creators Craig Thomas and Carter Bays and Emily Spivey wrote a pilot for CBS that starred Greta Gerwig and Drew Tarver, but it wasn't picked up. 2.5 years later, Aptaker and Berger created a new take, but after this pair were elevated to co-showrunners of This Is Us, so those are the 2 who ended up showrunning This Is Us, they were no longer available for this. 20th Century tried again in 2017 and 18 to develop the season with the You're the Worst writer, Allison Bennett. I love You're the Worst. But again, it did not move forward. Enter Hulu. The streamer was given the sequel series a 10-episode order with Aptaker and Berger back as creators, writers, and exec producers. Younger's Duff stars as Sophie. Oh, we get a character name, who's telling her son the story of how she met his father, much like Josh Radnor. And Ted Mosby did. It says Josh Radnor and Bob Saget's. Ted Mosby did. And the original series, yeah, I forgot about that. The story starts in 2021, where Sophie and her close-knit group of friends are in the midst of figuring out who they are. So it starts in this year. I wonder when we're going to get this show. Figuring out who they are, what they want out of life, and how to fall in love in the age of dating apps and limitless options. Hey, can relate. Duff will also produce this series, which will use a multi and single camera approach similar to its predecessor. Carter Bays and Craig Thomas, who created How I Met Your Mother, will also exec produce the series, which is produced by 20th Television. Adam Londy will serve as co-executive producer. This is all seemingly really great. Craig Erwick, the president of Hulu Originals and ABC Entertainment, called How I Met Your Mother one of the most innovative and beloved comedies on TV. Isaac and Elizabeth have an inspired take on this new version that honors what Carter and Craig created with the original and moves the franchise forward. Isaac and Elizabeth have proven to be rich storytellers and great partners to us at Hulu Originals and across the Walt Disney Company family, coupled with the passion and infectious energy Hilary brings to every role she takes on. We can't wait to suit up and bring audiences How I Met Your Father. I'm so into this. Yup. Only good things. Yes, only good things. Also, they said its fans had clamored for more ever since our final broadcast 7 years ago. Yeah, we wanted more because we didn't like your finale. Because your final broadcast sucked dick. I'm stoked on this. I can't wait to watch it. This will be must-see TV for me until they prove me wrong. I'm a big fan of hers. I love This Is Us. I love the original How I Met Your Mother, except for the finale. I love that they're doing How I Met Your Father. I love that it's 2021. And because think about it, 2005 was mad long ago. Love that it's 2021. I feel that. How do you meet somebody during this time of craziness? Especially, I'm guessing that her character is going to be in her 30s, because Hilary certainly is, or in her late 20s. So can relate. Loving this. Yes, yes, yes. All about it. Couldn't be more stoked. This is good TV news. What are you guys thinking? Streamlabs.com/RoxyStryer, super chat in. We are going to be getting out of here relatively soon. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, don't hold back. Now's the time. Get them in loud, get them in proud. Evan Hooker in the Streamlabs says, Ryan Johnson. Mark Johnson. Ryan Johnson did an awesome job with The Last Jedi, in my opinion. I'd love to see him involved with Mando and anything else Star Wars, despite how divided fans were on him. I still get chills when I watch the Luke meditation reveal at the end of The Last Jedi. I love that fucking movie. I hate how many people dislike it. And I know they say it's not a Star Wars movie, it's not part of the trilogy or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I just don't get it enough to know, but I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, y'all. Some of y'all talkative today. Most of y'all pretty quiet. Let me give some shout outs to you guys because I appreciate you joining me. And I try to do this at least once a week. To DK and Freetar, John Bainbridge, Ryan Payne, the third turd, the prince that wasn't promised, Lauren McMullen, Luke Nelson, DK, B. Lee, Rob Fishbeck, Bruce Banner, Redford Reddington, Pink Sweets, Linus Babcock. Yeah, wasn't Greta Gerwig supposed to star in the original How I Met Your Father? Yeah, that's what we were talking about when I was just reading that. I love Greta Gerwig too. She would have been great. Morse Code Z, Ryan Payne, Brittany Parker, Mark Jason Ali, Thundergod Cairo, Zadius Smith, Joseph Ashley, Cal L, Andrew Thomas, Jimmy Nails says, sigh, I'm old. No, you're not, Jimmy. What's that have to do with anything? Almo Cease 210. All you guys are the shit. Katie Robinson, hell yeah. Katie the Good Witch, Manny Gonzalez, Jake Jacobetta, Chris Martinez, JJ. Yeah. All right. Goodbye to my friends. Appreciate you guys. Leave a comment after this. Stick around to do so. Give it a thumbs up. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to make your bed if you haven't already, but hopefully you have. Also put down the toilet seat and the lid. We don't want those flumes. Don't trumpet the Holocaust. Brett Miles, Jonathan, arrest the cops who killed Breonna Taylor. All 3 of them for killing Breonna Taylor. and every other cop who murders somebody, especially teenagers. Okay. Also, to B. Lee, to all of you guys in here, blowing your internet, y'all know the deal. I'll see you tonight. Don't forget to join us. I'm going to have a hard time with the tarot card, so I hope to see you guys there for youtube.com/theworldgirls. Otherwise, I'll see you back here tomorrow, live the Roxy, 1 p.m.